Hey YouTube, all right, my next project is going to be, my wife wants to whitewash this display cabinet that we have. There's multiple steps to do this, but the first step is going to be I'm going to have to take off the hardware. I already took the top off. This is actually the top over here to give you an idea. So it has that top. I'm going to take off the hardware, then we're going to start by cleaning it up, and then it's a multi-step process that we'll go through. Okay, the hardware's off. The next step is we're going to use this crud cutter degreaser. Very straightforward. We're going to spray it on. We're going to let it sit for about 30 seconds or a minute, and we're going to wipe it off. This stuff really does a great job of you need to get the grease off. You actually don't, to do this process, we've done it a few times, you don't have to sand it, but you do have to get all of the top film off. So we're going to do that now. We're going to hit it with the crud cutter and start with that. Just want to show you, I sprayed on the crud color. I haven't even wiped it yet, and see the grease is already coming off, just to give you some idea. This does a great job of stripping down that coat. I don't know how well you can see that, but it really does. It strips this stuff off. You literally just wipe it on, let it sit, and wipe it off. So I'm going to do that now. So this is it after we cleaned it with the crud cutter. It cleaned off and actually lightened the color of it, but it definitely cleaned off a lot of the stuff. So I think now it is, or should be, ready to paint, to put our base coat. So we're going to mix up our base coat for this, because this looks pretty good at this point. Okay, so I'm starting to put on the first coat. I opened up, I mixed the paint, and I started painting this side. I'm going to give it one coat all around. You'd paint this just like anything else that you paint. I'm going to give it one good coat. I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to give it a second coat. So we'll start with this. I'm going to go around, let me give it the full coat, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so I have the first coat on. Did that all around. And I just put on a nice thin coat. Now I'm going to let everything dry, and then we will be ready for our second coat. Okay, everything is dry now, so I am going to put on my second coat. I'm going to follow the same process again. We're going to go around. We are going to paint it all up and give it a nice second coat. And then we're going to start putting on our wax. For this project, we're using clear wax and then brown wax. So we're going to do the clear wax first. And basically, we're going to take it. I'm just going to try and show you a piece of this. I'm going to do this one-handed. So take your clear wax on your wax brush, and you're going to put it on, not so much like paint, because you want the wax, they say to make it more like you're putting on moisturizing cream on your hands. Like you want to rub it in. You want to make sure that you hit the surfaces and you get everything. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to do this all over. We're going to put it on, and then we're going to wipe it off. I'll show you that in a minute. All right, so I just finished putting my coat of wax on here, which you can't really see, but there is like a slight film on there. So once you put on your wax, once you wax it on, you have to wipe it off. So you could use a rag, a piece of a t-shirt, something, hopefully that doesn't have any lint or very little lint. And you're gonna go along, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this one-handed, but you're gonna wipe the wax off. So you wanna get off that excessive wax. So I'm gonna go around, so do this one-handed, and we're gonna take off the wax. Sort of like waxing your car. You're going to leave, even though you're wiping off the top of the wax, it is leaving that wax shield or that wax coat on top of it. So this is the clear wax. We're going to go along. I'm going to do that all over. I'm going to wipe off the wax. And then it's going to be time to put our colored wax on. Okay, so now we're back. I've already put on the clear coat and 2 coats of paint under it. Now we're going to be using our other wax, it's the Jolie finishing wax. The color we're using is brown. The idea is we want to get this to look like sort of a beige when we're done. We're going to work, same thing, we're going to work in small sections, so we'll put the wax on and we'll start to see what it looks like. Now when you spread the wax on the brush, you don't need a lot on top there. You just literally just putting a little bit on there. You don't want to go too heavy when you're starting off, and you're just going to, I'm going to run the wax down. Okay. I'm going to do this one section and then we'll wipe it off and we'll see what it looks like. So it'll give us some idea. Now it picks up the design in the wood. It picks up the brush strokes, the imperfections. That's what you want. I'm going over this, so we want to lighten it up a bit till we rub it with our Now the good part with the wax also is if you wind up with an area that has too much wax on it, you could always go over it with your clear wax again to kind of lighten up the color. So that's another option for this. So, all right, I'm gonna work on this one door. Make sure we get it covered up. So now that we've done that, I'm gonna take a section of our rag. We're gonna take a clean section of rag, and we're going to wipe this with our rag. You'll see as we're doing that, that's smoothing out and taking off the wax. You don't have to do this too hard, but you want to get off the excess wax. That's the idea. You get off the excess wax, leaving the color behind. Okay. So I'm continuing along here. I put some more wax on here, and we're just, same thing, we're pushing it out. We're going to keep spreading out the wax on top of here. Just keep pushing it along. Now I'm going to do the same thing all along the front, and then we're going to wipe it down again. All right, so I just finished putting the wax on the whole front. And now I'm just gonna go, I'm gonna take my rag and we're gonna wipe off the excess with the rag. Turn on you go. I'm gonna start from one side, and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna keep going all throughout, and I'm gonna wipe the whole thing down. So I'm gonna keep going with this. All right, so I'm gonna do the last side now. I'm gonna follow exactly the same thing, same technique. We're gonna put some on. You're gonna spread out the wax. Yeah. Make sure you kind of get it all over your piece. Again, you don't want to go too thick with the wax. We're going to wipe some of this off as we go, but you don't want to go too thick. And you want to take the wax you have, make sure you spread it out to cover your piece. If you're really looking for a much darker piece, then maybe you go thick. In my case, you know, we're trying for like a bronzy look. So I'm going to go. Make sure we cover this whole thing. And I'm going to go back to my rag again. And I'm going to give it a wipe down. Just like we did with the front and the sides. So same thing over again. Clean piece. Now, if you get a spot that is really too dark that you want to go over, you can take some clear wax and go over it again with clear wax, and that will actually lighten it up. It activates the wax, and that will actually lighten it up. So if we turn around after we're done, and if we look at this, and if my wife decides that there is a spot that she wants with less wax or lightened up, that's the way you do that. But let's take a look around it now and see what it looks like, because this is pretty much what it's going to be for us. And compared to the way we started, I think it is a huge difference. We really like the way it looks. I'll show you what it looks after we get it all set up and we put the top back on, but I think we're in good shape. Okay, folks, so here's the big reveal. We have it back in place. I just put the top back on, and my wife thinks it came out great. That's all that matters. She won't be yelling at me tonight, hopefully. Anyway, if you remember what it looked like when we first started, then I think this really came out great. The steps were pretty simple, pretty straightforward. We painted 2 coats of the white base, then we used the clear wax, and then we used the brown wax in this case. This is definitely a project that's pretty simple that I think almost anybody can do. Anyway, if you like this project, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, check out some of my other videos. Have a great day.